All right, so for our Affirming Diversity project, we decided to focus on visual aids and how it assists multilingual learners in utilizing their native language to help make connections with and better understand their second language. So this is a visual aids for MLLs by Merlinda, Jacob, Sean, and Jenna. So our driving question was, how can we incorporate the students' native language to produce a welcoming environment for our MLLs where they feel the value of their native language while also learning English? So we want to focus on how, as teachers, we can utilize the students' native language in our classroom when instructing their secondary language. Now, this may not be possible, like for translate, like we're not expecting to translate every single document and provide everything with both languages, but utilizing certain aspects of that native language to help the student connect with English in their second language. So our CRT principle and justification of this. So this question is related to activating prior knowledge for our students, the contextual learning in our classroom setup. We are looking for a way to help embrace their native language while also learning their second language. By finding ways to utilize students' native languages in the classroom, we provide resources and opportunities for them to connect with the language they are learning. These resources can be visual aids, labels, images, or anything that may be familiar to the student in their native language that can help them connect to their new language. So relating it to our students' prior knowledge, obviously, is their prior knowledge of their native language. Now, not all students come with the same prior knowledge of their native language, so they may be able to connect in certain areas, but not in others, and then other students will be vice versa. So it's important to understand the individual needs of each student. The contextual learning, again, is just how the students will connect their native language to the secondary language and the way that they learn it and the way they understand it and how the progress they're able to make utilizing that resource. And then in terms of our classroom setup, like just adding the visual aids or the labels to areas in the room or areas like scheduling or making it accessible in our classroom for students to utilize their native language to help communicate and then understand the words that in English, or the words that in their native language, how they transfer over to English. And Merlinda's got.
In order to have this work, we want to make sure that we have posters and flyers, anything that can represent the students to their native language. So what this example is an example in Spanish. So if we have a poster of making a connection, we can have something simple as a sentence and what the words are for them to use. So in this example, it says use in, the, or on. And then next to it has the Spanish translation of usar en o en. And then it has the sentence with the blank spot. So they're filling in the blank or the gap in the sentence with the word that is appropriate. When they do this, they can make a representation. So you have a picture of a cat in the box, which is the first one, and then the dog with a toy. So they see the cat, it's something fun and energetic for them. And then they see the dog, same thing, something fun and energetic. And they can make a background connection to the words that they're using. And they can make that connection from Spanish to English. So now they're using the word in Spanish and then they can translate it into English. And that makes them have a more of a ground connection to using their native language to build on to the continuation of knowledge that they're assessing. And this can work for both English language learners as well as multilingual learners. So that's one example. And on the next slide, we have another example. This is called a RELA, and I hope I'm saying this right, but it's a RELA menu. And what that means, it's stuff that you'll see in real life. So that's that BICS connection, those necessity connections that you'll see and you can reflect on. Again, this is just a chart, something that you can have up in the room, in your classroom, or you can give it out to students as, a beginning test or a pre-knowledge test. And it has the English word on the left-hand side and then the Spanish word on the right. Again, the focus of these are to have them make connections of utilizing their native language to transition them to learning the new language, whether it's English, French, or anything else. So again, these are examples of Spanish. Since Spanish in our community is one of the most popular languages here, it helps us establish a connection to our community basis. Our biggest thing is to help use the visual aids to help them connect the dots. You can use this one as a matching game. So you can turn this into a matching game. So you'd put food, the English words on this side, and then you'd mix up the Spanish words on the opposite side and have them match it. So that's what the Rela menu can be. And this can be altered to fit the needs of the language that you are teaching in the classroom at that time. Types of visual aids. I don't know what happened to my phone. Sorry. So there's different types of visual aids. Visual aids for MLL should be related to the subject that they are addressing. We can use the pictures with the names, the English to translate it into the native language, which you just saw on the last 2 slides. You can use the gap list, which was the first example. You fill in the gap, making the connection to the sentence of their native language. And we can guide our students by using pictures and translations in their native language. Pictures are always a key point for anybody who is struggling, who needs a little bit more help, or who can have more of a background related knowledge to connect them to what it's seeing. Most of the time, pictures are the first reflection of what we know. And as we study students and we do, reading logs and stuff like that, we can see that students usually look at the pictures first to decode what's going on in their sentences. So using a picture to help our MLLs or our English learners is actually very key to help them with the visual aids. And visual aids are super important because it helps make that background connection.
So for the beneficiaries of the visual aids, so teachers are some of the ones who benefit. So visual aids help teacher explain their ideas or what they're trying to get across, connect, guide and clarify the ideas and concepts to what is being learned. And students also benefit from the visual aids. It's a great way to increase their comprehension because they're visually seeing and what is being presented with what they're learning. And it also helps with decoding and helps them make connections. So with what they're hearing and then visually seeing it. And it again makes learning more clear. So yeah, it definitely helps out both the teachers and the students.
And for conclusion, visual aids can assist students in organizing and making sense of information that is presented, and also allows an alternative form for expressing their understanding of information and concepts. When students are focused on a specific material, they are responsible for learning in the lesson as they prepare themselves for the information that is coming. This gives them an opportunity to access prior knowledge and make connections that they will need to understand for the lessons. There are multiple techniques and concepts to use, such as multimedia, PowerPoints, interactive whiteboards, graphic organizers, a document projector, some type of project, a website, and in doing so, they can provide more visual support. Visual aids is a comprehensible input technique that multilingual learners can use to understand the information presented, because it can gauge all the students' interests and make the information understandable for them. And that is it.
So a very good thing to keep in mind overall with our driving question is we really want to make sure that our students are acknowledging their backgrounds, their culture, and their native reactions to the learning. So we wanted to make sure that our visual aids would turn around and help them meet that connection and have them have a more solid foundation to continue to help them grow. So overall, our representation was to help the teachers, help the students feel more comfortable in their environment, and the tools that we are utilizing to help and support them throughout their journey and throughout their learning paths in life. So we wanted to make sure that we gave a visual aid, since most people are visual people. Now, if somebody had any type of visual impairment, we would alter this to sounds or noises or something that they were comfortable with, just depending on the student. So we would be able to differentiate our instruction to make sure that it, again, can help every student in the support that they wanted. So that is our presentation today. We hope you guys have a great day.